Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Friday Forum. It happens to be the month of July, and I'm so glad to welcome you back. It's been a while since I've been able to host one of these Friday Forums, and I'm very pleased to have some special guests with me today. As you're coming in, I'd love to get to know who you are and where you're from. And my guests would love to see where you are and where you're from. And I know each of you likes to see that as well. So as you're joining our webinar today, go ahead and put in the chat box your name and where you're joining us from. And the other thing I'm going to have you add today is how long you've been working with students, how many years. So type in a number. If you're just starting, then put in 0. If you've been doing this 30 some years, like me, then just put in a 25 plus or 29 plus or whatever the most appropriate number is. So I'm very glad to have everyone. We're going to be offering several different webinars. This month, we're actually going to be talking about social media twice. I'm going to have another special guest I'll tell you about later at the end of the month. But today you can see I have several special guests with me. We have Heather Holloway and Amy Schultz, and they're with, you're going to have to tell me the name of your company, Heather Holloway.
Really, it's easy to remember, Holloway Media Services.
There we go. All right. And we have Ed Sanderson from DeSeras. Hi, Ed. Hi, Heather. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
And then, of course, we have Carmen. She is my right-hand person, and she is going to be monitoring your questions and the chat and having our conversation today. So I see we've got people, and Amy and Heather and Ed, you can see we've got people from Vancouver, Texas. We've got 7 years, 5 years experience, 11 years. So what a wonderful audience we have. All of you have so much to offer. I love Anne, you put 15 plus years. I'm with you there. So thanks everyone for being here today. And now as we're winding the COVID down somewhat in some places, depending on where you live, we're looking ahead and we've looked at the impact social media has had over the last 18 months. And as we're looking forward, we're looking at what can we do and what lessons have we learned. So this is why I've invited Heather and Amy and Ed to talk about this and the impact of social media and what that can do. So should we launch our poll first? Let's do this. Let me have you guys introduce yourselves and then we'll launch the poll. Ed, let's start with you. You share a little bit about yourself and your background and why you're here.
Yeah, so my name is Ed Sanderson. I'm one of the co-founders for DeSeras, which is a college planning and coaching program out of San Diego. I've been in now you're making me do math, so now I have to go back and calculate. I've been in the college planning space, about ready to start my 18th year, so it's been a little bit of time. We really focus on working with students on the admissions process and then the financial aid process, and then how parents and families are paying for this without going into some ridiculous debt. So that's kind of the premise behind it. We're moving into some new directions where we're doing some coursework and we're really capitalizing on the social media wave so we can get to more people, more eyeballs, more attention. So, I'm here today because that isn't my expertise. I wanted it to be my expertise, but that's a fairly overwhelming challenge, as some of you may know. There's so many moving pieces. So I've been fortunate enough to team up with Amy and Heather at Holloway Media Services, and I'm excited to let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about what we're working on.
Okay, Heather.
Yeah, great. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me today. My name is Heather Holloway. I'm founder and owner of Holloway Media Services, and I've been in the content game all my life. I mean, I've been there for a hot minute. I first started in radio and television and then moved into digital. And I've seen such an incredible growth in this field. I love it so much. I can't help but make videos and take pictures and write things and come up with ideas. And marketing is really fun. So Having a radio and television background and being able to take that passion and bring it into my own business as an entrepreneur is a life fulfilling dream. Like, this is a lot of fun. So I'm very excited to be here with you guys and impart some wisdom and help you guys win at this game, because online marketing is it, guys. We're not going backwards. So I'm here, and I'm hopeful that I can help you today. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Amy.
Hi, everybody. I met Heather, probably maybe 15 years ago. We both worked at a local television station and did TV production, and we reconnected about a year or so ago when I started helping her out with Holloway Media Services.
And she's amazing. She's not going to toot her own horn, but this girl is editing videos, writing content, creating graphics, making sure everything gets published. But she's awesome, and I love you, Amy.
We're so glad to have you. And that is an area that most of us, especially as college counselors, are not well versed in, and that is not our area of expertise at all. So it's nice to have all of you on here as experts. So let's find out what our audience, I'm going to launch a poll so that you can give us your feedback in terms of where you're at and what you do. And also, I just want to remind you that we also have the question and answer. So if you have a specific question, rather than put it in the chat, put in the question and answer, because then we'll be able to get back to you. If Heather needs to look something up, or Amy or Ed, they'll be able to get back to you, and I'll be able to help you too. So we do have the question and answer. The chat is just for comments and suggestions and, just running commentary. But questions, please put in the Q&A. And Carmen, my wonderful, my secondhand person, will be covering that as well. Carmen, do you want to introduce yourself for a second? I know some people have met you already, and it's been a while since you've seen them. So go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, I'm Carmen. I've been monitoring the question and answer at a couple of these Friday forums, so I've seen a lot of the same screen names. I haven't seen you guys, but I've seen the screen names. I graduated high school in 2020, so during COVID, when COVID hit. And then I decided to take a gap year. I was supposed to go on a foreign exchange to France, but unfortunately that got canceled. And so then I decided to reapply to college, and this time I was smart and I went and asked Cindy to help me. And so then I applied to colleges, and now I'm going to Stevens Institute of Technology in the fall. I have my flight booked. It's in August, so it's super exciting.
That's so exciting. She's going from West Coast to East Coast.
Yep.
Good. All right, so let's launch this poll. Let's see where everybody is. So you're gonna see 3 questions on the screen. So pick an answer that's closest for you. All right. So I'm gonna hit the button. Hopefully there we go. All right. So you're seeing, and you should be able to see all 3 questions. So the first question is, how many social media platforms are you on? And we're going to be talking about that a little bit more.
Man, I just realized I don't even get to vote because I'm on the panelist side.
You're going to have to think about your answer and share. Yes. So, yeah. So think about how many social media platforms you're on. How often do you post to social media? And there's a big difference between how often you post and how often you want to post, right? And then what are some of the social medias that you use? And we didn't put all of them on there. There are several different ones, but we put the main ones on there. So looks like we're getting we've got 21 out of 31 people. If you haven't voted yet, go ahead and put in. If you don't know, just guesstimate. At least
we're getting a lot of responses that for the third question, they can only choose one option. So maybe just choose which one you think is the most.
Oh, that's thanks, Carmen. You're right. That is true. I didn't check to see if you could do multiple choices. Yeah, so pick the one that's your main one. Okay, I'll give you a few more. We've got 26 out of 31. So we have a few people who haven't voted yet. Oh, yeah. And in the chat, if you want to put some of the other ones that you do, since you can only pick one, then we'll see that too. I'm especially interested if people are doing Clubhouse. I know I've done a little bit with Clubhouse. I'm very intrigued by it. And that's another area that I want to cover in one of our Friday forums. WeChat, okay, yeah, for Chinese attendance, that may, or for Chinese audience. WhatsApp, I use WhatsApp with a lot of different people, so good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. Looks like we've got 81%. Now we've got 84. So I'm going to give you like 2 more seconds. We have about 5 people who haven't voted yet. And yeah. Thanks, Carmen, for adding your comments too. That's very helpful. I think sometimes that's an important thing to look at is what do our students do?
Yeah, and that's right on par too. Like with Instagram, that's where your students are hanging.
Mm-hmm. What about TikTok?
Sure, yeah, they're on there, definitely.
Okay, all right, I'm going to end the poll, and then I'm going to share the results. So, and you guys can see the results as well, right, Heather and Amy? Okay, all right, so it looks like there's the majority of people are on 1 to 3 different social medias. You know, very few are, you know, we all have some kind of social presence, anywhere between 1 to 3 and 4 and 5. And then there's one person that's got 6 or more. So it looks like we're kind of in the middle, which is probably not surprising. How often do you post to social media? And this is where doing these polls is really helpful because we know where we're at. It's always fun to see what other people are doing. So the rarely is the 33%. Sometimes is, again, in the middle. Frequently is, and often are kind of almost tied. We don't have anybody who lives on social media. So so that's good to see. And then which social media, it looks like a majority of people use Facebook. And then the second one is LinkedIn. The third one would be Instagram. We've got one person on Pinterest. We don't have anybody who's using YouTube, and Twitter is not as popular either. I know some consultants use Twitter. I've never figured out how to use Twitter on effective other than saying, look at this story. And somehow to me, that just doesn't really do much. So I'm always interested in learning more. So so we were only able to select one. So that's true. If you have several different ones, that is very true. And feel free to put those into the chat. So like Ann said, she's got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. So those are all. And then as we mentioned, we've got, and Jennifer's using Marco Polo. I'd never heard of using Marco Polo in that way, but that makes sense. Clubhouse, WhatsApp. We've got Clubhouse a couple of times, WeChat. So lots of variety and different ways of using social media. So how does that look and where does that take us? I'm going to turn this over to you, Heather and Amy and Ed.
Awesome. Yeah. So what I saw that question that just came up about another consideration is the use of social media for business versus personal, 2 totally different things. However, you are your business. So what I'm about to present to you will help you blur that line, bridge that gap, and get you to better content and grow your business ultimately. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to teach you how to use social media to grow your business in under 25 minutes or less, or your pizza's free. Are we ready?
Go for it.
If you have questions, please put the questions in the chat. We're going to get to them as soon as I'm done with the presentation. So let me go ahead and get this up for you guys. Can you see the ultimate online marketing strategy?
We can.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. All right, awesome. Cool. So if you haven't realized already, I am super excited to be here with you today. So Cindy, thank you so much for inviting Amy and I to join you guys. I'm Heather Holloway, and I'm going to teach you the ultimate online marketing strategy for Facebook, Instagram, Google, email, YouTube, Marco Polo, Clubhouse. It don't matter. It does not matter what platform you use. What I'm about to teach you works on all digital marketing applications. So if you're really serious about building your brand, a real brand, this is what you got to do. So before we get into it though, I just want to take a moment really quickly to thank you. Thank you so much for letting me join your conversation today. It really means a lot to me that you're here and that you're spending your valuable time with me. You know, as an entrepreneur myself, I think that time is our most valuable asset. And when you choose to spend some of your time with me, I'm going to do my best to offer you value and make sure that you get really major takeaways from spending your time here today. So full disclosure, you know, at the end of this, I do have ways that you can work with me. I'm going to give you ways that you can learn more about what I do. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that you have a ton of value. So let's get into it. Here we go. In my introduction, I told you that, you know, I've been in the content game for a while, but I've been working in social media solely since 2017. But before that, I started out my career after college in radio. I was a morning producer. Then I went into television. Amy and I, that's where we met many moons ago. So we started producing television commercials. I went into digital after that. I worked for the SEC Digital Network, and that was really cool. I got to travel around and do digital marketing for the SEC, for the Big Ten, Big East, ACC, a whole bunch of conferences. Then I moved into print. So it's almost like I took a step back. I moved into print and I did print marketing. And then you guys might be interested in this. I was a high school ambassador. So I got to travel around North Central Florida and go into high schools and help kids find their next path for life after high school. And so that was a lot of fun. In fact, I thought that was my dream job. Like I thought I found it, but that didn't turn out to be it, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So fast forward to 2017, here we are. I am a founder and operator of Holloway Media Services. And so I know a thing or two about marketing a brand. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the first thing, the most important thing, if you're taking notes, if you're typing, if you're writing things down, write this down. I want you to understand that online marketing, again, doesn't matter what platform, what vertical, whatever you're using, email, newsletters, YouTube, doesn't matter. None of this works unless there's engagement. The number one thing that you want to remember from this presentation today is this. If you can get a group of people to become aware of you, hold their attention for long enough, they will eventually buy from you. Okay? If you get a group of people to become aware of you, to pay attention to you, hold their attention for long enough, they will buy from you. Okay? So online marketing doesn't work unless there's engagement, unless they see you and they interact with you. So how do we do that? Well, my friends, we have this awesome system that we adopted as our own. This is the exact same system that we use for our clients, for Ed, for all of our clients. And it's called Icosa. The Icosa system, ICOSA, okay? The Icosa system is how you add value to a marketplace. This means you're going to post with a purpose beyond just selling your products or your service. All right? There's true meaning and value behind what you put on social. This is the number one thing, the number one long-term new customer acquisition and repeat business content marketing strategy. And this is how it works. Are we excited? I hope we are. Here we go. Icosa. It means this: ideation, creation, optimization, syndication, and amplification. That's it, friends. That's the system. We can close it down. I can walk away. Just kidding. I need to dive deeper. So this is the name of the game, Icosa. Okay. Here's another key. If you add consistency to the Icosa formula, you have the formula for ridiculous growth. This is what all major marketers are using. This is what all major brands are using to grow their business digitally. And here's the reason why I put up consistency, kids, is because this is really, really the key. Now, we took that poll and we saw rarely and never, some often is in there. So consistency is really the key. Just like a diet or workout program, you can't just say that you're going to eat well one day and not the next. All right. You have to be consistent to see any sort of real measures. So same thing for social. You can't put out one piece of content a week because people just aren't going to remember you, and the algorithm is against you. All right. We need that engagement to have those posts be put in front of your audience. So consistency helps you with that. So you want to aim for multiple pieces of content per week. And I'm going to show you how to do this with the Icosa framework. So here we go. Ideation. This is the first step, ideation. Here, you want to take a moment, an hour, 2 hours, whatever, when you're driving in the car, like when you're in the shower, all these ideas are going to start to come out of you. This is your ideation phase. This is where you sit down and you're going to think about the things that your community is interested in. Remember, people buy from people. And let me break it to you, you are not for everyone. You are for a particular type of person. And as soon as you can dial in who that person is, or that group of people, then you know who your customer is. I don't know if you've ever heard the term customer avatar. It's really fancy speak for who the heck do you want to work with? Like, I'm sure you've had amazing ideal clients. Like for us, it's Ed. But then I'm sure you had other clients that were just a thorn in your side, and it's really not worth working with them. So you need to get real with yourself and say, who do I really want to work with? Okay. Where do they live? What are they interested in? And from there, you can start to provide value. You can find out where they're having conversations and join those conversations. You can start conversations as soon as you figure out who you really want to talk to. Okay. So this is all the ideation mode. This is where you're going to figure out what it is, your messaging, and who you're going to talk to. Next, we're going to go into the creation mode. So now that we know who we want to talk to and what we want to say and what value we can deliver, now we get to have some fun and we get to create. Just like art class. Remember when you're kids, man, you get to color and paint and do all those things. Well, now we do it digitally. So now we need to create that content. And here's the thing. You want to remember, anything that you put out, you want to fall under one of three categories, okay? You want to either entertain, educate, or inspire. If you can make somebody laugh, that's the best. That's the ultimate. So, content that entertains, a funny meme that's relatable to your ideal person that you want to work with. Content that educates, that would be a how-to, right? Content that inspires, maybe you saw a quote that could relate to your person, that could give them some motivation, you'd put a quote out. So remember, when you're thinking of who you want to talk to, remember to create content that entertains, educates, and inspires. Now, there's different types of content that we can create in this phase. There are videos, articles, listicles, quotes, stories, email, blog. I mean, you won't run out of types of content to create. But let me point out the one that's the most important. It's video. And on the poll, I don't know if y'all saw, but nobody said YouTube. And maybe that was because you could only choose one platform. But I got to tell you guys that YouTube is so extremely important. Video is so extremely important. Okay, not just YouTube, but video is so extremely important. And here's why. It's attractive. It's versatile. And I'm going to show you how versatile video really is. And it's extremely shareable. It's extremely shareable. Now, who doesn't like some fun facts or some statistics in a presentation? Here's a really good one. Coming soon, 82% of all internet traffic will be video. If you're not producing videos, you're missing out on awareness and engagement. 82% of all internet traffic is going to be video. Who out there uses email in their marketing? I'm going to guess it's a couple of you out there. Could you benefit from a 300% click-through rate? Meaning an increase of 300% more clicks from your email to your website or whatever you want your customers to do. With video, you can expect a 300% in click-through rate. So think about this. You drafted this email, you included a video in there, they opened it up, they clicked on the video, maybe it took them back to your website, to your blog, okay, where you have your video embedded in your blog, and they start to interact with that video, they engage with that video. Guess what you can do then? Run an ad to them. So super important. And then finally, Facebook videos alone get 135% more organic reach than photos. Okay, Heather, what does that mean? Organic reach. Anybody out there working on a budget? Anybody out there trying to keep costs down? This is super important if you're not putting money behind posts or money into your digital marketing, because organic reach means it's organic. It's out there, people are seeing it, and you're not putting any money behind it. So if you're putting videos on Facebook, you have 135% more chance of getting in front of somebody with $0 behind it. So video is super, super critical. Now, how do we start? How do we start creating content? Cool. I need to entertain. I need to inspire. I need to engage. Okay, Heather, I know I need to do some videos, but what do I talk about? Well, what Amy and I do is we create things called content pillars. Okay, content pillars are these overarching ideas that you can always use. And for us, they stem from a keyword topic list. So what happens is Amy and I will send out this keyword topic list to Ed, and we'll be like, Ed, we did research. We found out what people are searching for, what questions they need answers to. Here's a whole bunch of them. These are going to be highly ranked. They're SEO optimized. I need you to shoot some videos. And then Ed takes it and he runs with it. Now, what you can do is go to YouTube, see the titans in your industry, see the people that are in your industry, the guys and gals are out there, really pulling in some big numbers. See what the titles are of those videos. Okay. But here's the deal. Don't speak about that title. What I want you to do is think of 1 degree or 2 degrees separated from that title, and then teach a subject on that or talk about that, because here's why. If somebody's out there with 1 million views on a video, you don't want to compete with that. Nobody knows you right now. So what you want to do is try to get something that relates to it so that you are the expert and you're going to get the eyeballs on that topic. Okay. So make sure to search what people, make sure to look at what people are searching for, what's relevant, and what's timely. Okay. Next up, we have other content pillars. So more content options. You can share your brand values. What makes you you? What makes your brand unique? Do you donate to charity? Are you an environmentalist? Do you love dogs? Like, give your brand values out there, because that's what people are going to connect with. That's what people are going to relate with. You can do educational videos. Are you teaching something? Are you helping students accomplish something? Give behind the scenes content. Do you guys go out to speaking engagements? Do you go to conferences? So you can do behind the scenes content, industry specific content. If you see an article, comment on it. Content that's timely. Is there something happening in the nation? Holidays, right? Relevant bits of current events. You can share tips. What you want to do is share anything that's related to the problems and conversations that your communities, AKA ideal customer base, are already having. You can use FAQs, articles, listicles, how-tos. You will never run out of content types. And don't forget there are gold in your comments, okay? There's gold in your comments because you can use content from your comments as post ideas. So you can actually have your community feed you what they want to know. So ask questions, ask questions. Now, let's take a moment and talk about commenting real quick. You know, the word social, there's social in the title, social media, for a reason. It means that you can communicate, you can have a conversation. It's almost like texting a friend, right? So a pro tip, comment on the comments that you're getting on social. This is super, super, super important, guys. Don't miss doing this, because if you do miss doing this, the platforms will penalize you. If you don't respond to the activity on social platforms, they will penalize you because the algorithm starts working against you. What will happen is the platforms will see that you're putting all this content out there. Great, 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 great. People are engaging, they're liking, they're sharing, they're commenting, and you're just letting it go because, I mean, you're a busy business owner. So the platform is going to be like, well, that person doesn't really care. They're just trying to extract people from our platforms instead of nurturing and keeping people on that platform for as long as you can. So what you want to do, and I gave a great example here, is we had somebody that reached out on this post, and right away we responded right back. And you have to do that. You have to respond because there is a human being on that other comment there, and the profiles need to see that you're active and you're engaged. Okay, so that's very, very important. All right, then we have optimization. All right, so we ideated, we figured out what we want to say and who we want to talk to. We created the content. Now, before we publish that content, we need to make sure that all of our profiles are nice and tight. All right, we need to optimize every platform that we're on, and you want to include your links. You want to make sure that your contact info is on there. Put your mission statement out there. Why are you doing what you're doing? Put that mission statement out there. Add your shop if you have one. Maybe you have a course, maybe you have swag, maybe you have, I don't know, a download or something. So if you have a shop, you can put it on Instagram and Facebook, you know, stuff like that. So you want to make sure to optimize every platform that you should be on. And sometimes I get the question like, okay, Heather, I see that there's a million social platforms. What should I be on? In my professional experience, there's 5 majors that you should be on: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Okay. Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok, Marco Polo, Clubhouse, all those peripheral, that's cool. You can get there. But look, you may be only one person. You may not have a team. So I would urge you to pick 2. Pick 2 that your clients are hanging out on. Okay. Most likely, probably Facebook, Instagram is where your students would be hanging out. You know, they hang out on TikTok too. But definitely Facebook, Instagram, Twitter would be a good one. Your younger kids are hanging out on Twitter, and LinkedIn, you know, if you want to get speaking engagements and stuff like that. So don't get overwhelmed with how many profiles are out there. Just pick 2 and stick to those. Remember, consistency. All right, let's talk about video. How do we optimize video? Okay, we don't want to miss these things. You want to make sure you have a title in your video. You want to make sure you have a description so people can easily see what they're about to get into in that video. Pro tip, add the title in the description. Okay, that helps with ranking on YouTube. You're going to create a thumbnail. And most importantly, you're going to get that video transcribed, okay? Because you can then take that transcription and put it on your blog and embed your video. And with that transcription, you also want to have what's called an SRT file, okay? The SRT file is what social media platforms and YouTube reads as closed captioning files, okay? So in case somebody doesn't want to watch, which there are a ton of statistics out there that you can go and research, most people watch and don't listen. So very, very, very important that you have an SRT file, okay? Another really cool thing about YouTube is they will scan that SRT file, and if you put SEO keywords in there, it helps you rank higher as well. So very, very important to get that transcribed. So you want to do this on every video on each platform. So remember in the beginning I said that video is versatile. here's why. One piece of video will net you tweets, quotes, short form clips for stories. I just said that it can help you create a blog post. You can do a ton of things with videos alone. But adding on top of that, you want to create, an email image, because you can put your video in your email, and you want to email your videos out to whoever's on your list. And then finally, with content creation, you need to write copy. You need to write copy for your email. You need to write copy for your social posts and any hashtags. And so to do all this work, really what it takes and what we have in place is you need design, copy, video editing. You need an ads manager. You need a project manager. So this is some work, y'all. But if you do this, if you commit to this, if you commit to these, these 5 steps and doing this work, you're going to see yourself take off in incredible ways. All right, let's go into syndication. Next, we have syndication. So, okay, you're going to post your blog to your website. You're going to post content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, if you're there, wherever you're hanging out, okay? You're going to send out an email to your list. And then for optimum organic reach, you're going to take that social content and you want to repost it a whole bunch of times throughout the month and on different platforms. You don't want to post what you have on Facebook on the same day as Instagram, on the same day as Twitter, the same day as LinkedIn. What you want to do is sort of stack that and move that around. And an easy way to do that is by using a syndication platform. And we use a platform called Sprout Social. Sprout Social schedules all of our posts. We can monitor and respond to comments. We can track analytics. We send reports out to our customers. So you can do the same thing. Now, Sprout Social is sort of made for agency owners and a little bit elevated marketing. However, there are many, many, many different versions of syndications platforms. So you have Hero Post, Agora Pulse, you have Buffer, you may have heard of them. The free one is called Creator Studio. So with Creator Studio, that's from Facebook, and you can post to both Facebook and Instagram. All right. Later is Instagram only. And then Hootsuite, I think, does all the platforms as well. So what I would suggest you do is find a syndicator, because it makes it easier to keep everything organized and repost all of that content that you're making more efficiently. Everybody sort of does the same thing. Everybody has their own price points. So what I suggest you do is go out to these websites and get a free half hour with one of their salespeople. Have them take you through the platform and see how easy it is to post, see how easy it is to replicate posts, see how easy it is to find your analytics, see if it's easy to understand, and then find the one that's right for you. We happen to like Sprout. All right. And last, but definitely not least, in fact, this might be one of the most important things, is amplification. All right. So last step in the Icosa method is Amplify. So we ideated, we created the content, we've optimized all of our profiles, we've optimized all of our content so that it's going to be easy to consume on each platform. We've syndicated it by putting it everywhere. And now we're going to put some money behind it to create that all-important engagement that I mentioned all the way at the start of this. So what you want to do is you want to run Facebook ads. Okay. And here's a good rule of thumb for, okay, Heather, how much should I spend? Well, you want to take at least 10% of your total marketing budget, and you're going to use the objective of page post engagement. Why? Because engagement is the key to all of this, okay? So you're going to set up a campaign, and that campaign objective is just to get people to engage on your posts on Facebook and Instagram. Then what happens after that is we're going to run direct response ads to the people who've engaged with that content. Okay, so anybody who's engaging on your fan pages, anyone watching your videos, those are the people who are going to see those direct response ads. And because they've already engaged with another piece of content, they're now warm. This is what's called a warm audience, and they're more likely to take an action on that sale. So you want to offer something of value, something of value to that warm audience, which is going to help you close the gap of the sale. Remember, marketing is human to human. There is a human on the other side of that device or on that laptop seeing your things. So I like to think of it this way. If you went to a bar and you were looking to meet someone, you wouldn't walk up to the person that you see that you want to talk to and walk up to them and the first thing that you say is, will you marry me? You don't do that. They would be like, no, run or call the cops or whatever. That would be the wrong thing to do. What you want to do and what you do in everyday life is in networking events and whatever, you go up and you introduce yourself. You have them warm up to you. This is the same exact thing. Online marketing is no different, guys. So that's why you want to get people to first engage with your posts. Then you earn the right to offer them something of purchase. And remember, you do this long enough, you get people, you hold their attention long enough, they will buy from you. Then, after you run your ads, you want to see what's happening. So make sure to watch your analytics. You want to see what's working. And then, my friends, all you do is rinse and repeat. You think of ideas, you create the content, you optimize the media for each platform, you post on each platform, and then you amplify that content and retarget a direct ad to those people. So I think I made it. I think it might be 20 minutes or less. That's it. That's all I have. That is the Icosa method. So what I want to do now is open it up for questions because I'm sure there's a lot of them. So let me go ahead and stop sharing and let's get to some questions.
There was something that you mentioned about Listicle. Is that how you say it? Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure what that was. So if you just expand upon it a little bit.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a blog post where they're like the top 5 things to whatever in life? And then you're like, cool. And you go to that and they're like, all right, number 1. So it's basically a blog. It's a blog with numbered bullets is basically what a listicle is.
That makes sense. So, Heather, one of the things that we deal with as business owners and entrepreneurs is our clients are really the students, but the people paying for it are usually the parents. Yeah. So in that kind of a situation, how do you market? Do you market to 2 different audiences, or do you pick the parents? What are your recommendations for that? For you and Amy, what are your thoughts?
Sure. Yeah. So, and working with Ed, this is exactly what we're doing. We're trying to develop both content for, you have 2 customer avatars. You have the kid. All right. Mm-hmm. So what's the kid's pain point? What do they want to know? So we're using Ed as the expert to give advice, right? Because maybe a college-bound student doesn't know what to expect in their first year of college or what have you. So I would definitely say the mix. Then, you want to talk about the pain point that the student's going in. You also want to talk about the pain point that the parent is going to face, and that usually deals with the pocketbook. So how can you save them money? How can you be that expert? How can you be that guide? How can you be that friend? How can you be that, Sherpa to get them to the ultimate promised land of getting their child, into the right college or the right fit, and having, to save some money or, get some money some way. So I would say it needs to be a healthy mix. Now you can look at the platforms and you can say, where do the parents hang out? It's going to be Facebook, some Instagram, LinkedIn, because they're going to be professionals. YouTube, definitely. Where are the students hanging out? Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. So you can piece your content. You can say Instagram is only going to be for the kids, and Facebook and LinkedIn is only for the parents. So you can do it that way. Amy,
we do have.
Oh, you got it. You're good. You're on target.
We do have 2 questions in the Q&A currently. Why should we not post to various social media platforms on the same day? I would post the same thing to Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn all at the same time.
Yeah, because, post fatigue, if somebody again, you want to keep their attention, right? We talked about engagement, keeping their attention. So if they go to Facebook and they're like, wow, I really relate to you, I want to learn more about you. And then they go to Instagram, they're like, I just read that. You want to give them something. You want to give them a little bit more that they can sink their teeth into, and you want to keep their attention. So that would be one of the major reasons why not to post the same content. Now you can take that post that you're going to post on a Monday, the first Monday of the month on Facebook, and just wait until the next week and post it on the first or the second Monday on Instagram. So you're not recreating the wheel per se. You're just scheduling them out differently.
Could you give tips on finding out popular keywords / what people are searching for, like in your slide where brands should start?
Totally. I would go to YouTube. I would start at YouTube. I would find experts in your field and see what they're doing. What's resonating with their audience. If their audience is like your audience, check out what they're doing. But again, don't repeat what they're doing. Don't do the same topics. What you want to do is a degree or two separated from that, because if they have a lot of traffic, if they have 1 million views, you're never going to compete with that right off the gate. Okay. So you're going to want to see other relevant topics and talk about that.
Do you think a blog is necessary in all of this?
100%. No question. If you don't have a blog, you need it yesterday, because you're creating your own ecosystem of traffic. Okay. You post the video on YouTube, you tell them to go check out the blog. They go to the blog. Now they're on your site, and you have all these things in place where you can track people and what they're doing. If, maybe they didn't even watch the whole video on YouTube and they go to your blog and they click play and they watch the whole video there. Guess what? It counts as a view on video, on YouTube, and it's keeping them on your site. And that's what you want, right? You want people on your site, and a blog is a great way to do that. Plus, blogs help with SEO. Blogs help with social proof. Blogs, they're huge.
Should we still send out newsletters?
Yes, 100%. Email's not dead. Email is great. Oh my gosh. And with what I just taught you, I'm not asking you to do more work than you have to. If you create a video, here's a secret, guys. I'm coming all back to video, right? Like I probably said video 22 times already. If you create that video, you've then created your blog post and your email newsletter. Done. So yes, you need to, there's an active audience that is still on your email list. Keep them engaged. Send them content.
There's a specific situation when I post on Facebook, it won't put on Instagram if I include a link to my website. I haven't tried reposting on Instagram afterwards, but does that work? Should I always include a link to my website?
So for Facebook, so any other platform but Instagram, you can add a link, and I urge you to do that. Add links. I will tell you that Facebook in particular doesn't like if you put the link in the post copy. So in other words, you type your post out and you put your URL in there. Maybe you have a graphic with it. They don't like when you're sending people off of Facebook. So you can try two different things. Try some posts with the link in the post text. Try some posts with the link in the first comment. Then with Instagram, there's a free tool called Linktree, Linktree, Linktree. So if you have links to your blog or your YouTube or whatever, use Linktree to add those links in there, because Instagram only gives you one link to add. So you will add Linktree instead of changing up the links every week. And then you can say in your Instagram post, link in bio. I'm sure you guys seen that. Who out here has seen that term, link in bio? Right, exactly. They're trying to get you to your profile to get somewhere else. Well, with Linktree, you can have your YouTube, your blog, your whatever, free download, whatever it is, your calendar, whatever it is.
There was a question also about the emphasis on video and how long should videos be?
Yeah, totally. So I would say for Facebook, for Facebook, for YouTube, for LinkedIn, try to get at least 3 to 5 minutes. Ideally, 5 to 7. If you can get to 10, you're a rock star. But at a minimum, you want to have at least a 3-minute video. Now for Instagram, you can take that 3, 5, 7, 10-minute video, chunk them down into 1-minute video bites, because on your Instagram feed, you're only allowed 60 seconds of video. On your stories, on your IGTV, you can have, up to 60 minutes, I think. So, so just optimization, right? Optimization.
Definitely. So we've got a few more minutes. This has just been fascinating. You can tell people have a lot of questions about this. Now, you and Ed have developed an approach to using the system that will help us take advantage of this, but do it from a crowdsourcing perspective. And so tell us a little bit more about that, Heather, Amy, or Ed. Tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, and I'm gonna flip this one to you, because you're my social proof. How's it been working for you, and how can we help other people?
I was hoping to get through this call without saying anything. I love being a panelist in the front row and not having to do anything. This is awesome.
I'm looking right at you.
No such luck, Ed. No such luck.
So, I mean, look, we spend a lot of time as IECs, working on our craft, and our craft is, getting important information to deliver to our clients. And if that's what we're consumed with, it's good, because that's how we feed our family, right? So what I have found, though, is that everything that you do cannot be a sales thing, like buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. I think those days are long gone. So the next question was, how do you provide content on a consistent basis? And I'm glad that Heather had that pop up on the screen, because that's what I was struggling with. Is I have content, but I didn't have it consistently. I didn't deliver it professionally, and I definitely wasn't on all the channels. And then I saw something that said that if you wanted to grow, and I think, we're all industry experts to certain degrees, if you want to grow, that you have to post consistently every week for 2 years in order to really get into the culture that's on social media. And I just realized that I didn't have the bandwidth for that. And all the things that I'm trying to develop, that wasn't one of the things, and I wasn't that great at it. So what I was looking for was someone to coach me through that, and to go, listen, this is what you're going to say, this is how you're going to say it. And if you're too busy to type something, then why don't you just record a video? And then I saw the statistics that Heather was putting up, and I was like, you know what? I'm not too bad in front of a camera. And I just realized lights go on, camera goes on, and I struggled. So in the conversation with Heather, she's like, listen, why don't you just make your life a little easier? Find subject matter experts, interview those experts. We will slice and dice that content, and then that's a winning combination. Well, I was kind of doing a version of that, because we're creating courses. Cindy helped me with one. A number of industry experts helped me with one, and with the idea that we wanted to be able to get to a larger audience at a lower price point. Well, then I was like, well, I'm already doing it, so why don't we just go ahead and do it? And so Heather said, what content, what are you going to record this week? And I was like, I don't know. I'm in the mood for social media is not about mood. It's about, what are people looking for? What are the answers to the question? Are you walking into the conversation that they're already having in their mind? And they produced that spreadsheet that you guys saw, one of the slides, which was, here's all the excellent ones, here are the good ones, these ones are not so great, these ones are not getting any traction. And then we set out to record that, and they put us on a schedule. And so I said to Cindy, I said, hey, we got this amazing group of a marketing team with a lot of background in news and radio. I don't know too many people who have that background, which means the production is tight. It's really clean. We should roll this out to IECs if they need it. And she came back to me and said, right, what's the price point? And I'm like, oh, it's probably like, it's between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. She's like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I went back to Heather and Amy, and I said, yeah, that's not going to work. And I said, is there any scenario where we could cut this up into pieces so that we can appeal to our comrades all trying to do the same thing and do it in a way where we could slice that $3 to $5 grand up into pieces. Everybody can grab a piece, and then together we can row the boat and get to our audiences, as opposed to trying to do it individually at a higher price point. And they said no. And then I said, please. And they said, no. And I said, come on, let's do this thing. So we created, through some conversations with Cindy and some IECs on different levels, people who are very involved in social media, to I don't even have a Facebook account, to somewhere in the middle, and said, what is it that you're looking for? And it was like, I have a newsletter. How can I turn that into video? And we literally took the newsletter, did a Q&A session, recorded it, and now you've got content. And so we said, if we could do it for one, why don't we just do it for 10 or 12 people and accomplish the same thing at a fraction? I'll call it fractional social media, at a fraction of the price. And then what we'll do is we'll post it through Duceris group, and then you get to take that link and you get to push it out to your people. And then I want to highlight just one really important thing, because it came up early, and I want to make sure we repeat this again. If you do not comment, you do not share, and you do not love it, it's not going anywhere. So think about this for a second. If 10 or 12 of us were sharing content, liking content, commenting on each other's content, is that going to help us, or it's going to hurt us? It's going to help us. And the other thing I realized, I'm 53. I don't want to work this hard anymore. I just don't. So instead of me trying to figure out all the relevant content, why don't I just go to someone like Cindy, who's worked with international students, or someone like Melissa, who's on here, who's worked with international students? Could I go research that? Yes. Will it be nearly as good as what they are doing? Not even close. So why don't I just interview them, create the content, check the green box, that's what people are looking for, push that content out, and then everybody is rowing in the same boat in the same direction. And I guess this is sound kind of jerky, but we get to pass the people who are trying to do it on their own, because I don't know about you guys, I don't have the bandwidth for it. I just couldn't do it. So now we're opening that up to a handful of folks who are like, no, that makes sense. I like the idea of doing video. Maybe it'll be easier for me if I have someone like Ed or Cindy or Heather and Amy interview me. That takes the pressure off, and yet I'm still getting the same valuable content. And I can tell you where we're focusing our attention on. It's YouTube and Facebook first. The other ones are secondary, because, and I'll tell you a tip that they didn't tell you. Facebook and Apple are in a war. Apple and Facebook are going to war. And you know what YouTube's doing? Capitalizing. Because they don't rely on Apple. They've got their own search engine on the internet through Google, which owns YouTube. They don't care. They want that whole thing to become a border skirmish. They win. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to still produce content all over. But I'm here to tell you, YouTube is going to be king. It kind of already is, second largest search engine on the planet. That's where we're going. And all of that is video. So it's an opportunity for us to do the incremental social media positioning. We all win in that deal, and it's at a fraction of the cost you would have to do to hire these two young ladies to do it for you, full-time, all day, every day. So that's what we're looking to do. I know we've got a little flyer on that. If you're interested in having that dialogue, you can reach out to Cindy, Heather, Amy, or myself, because this is the future. And if we're not doing it, we're going to get lapped. And even if it's not, I don't need to sell 100 clients. You know what? But credibility is kind of a big thing. So when the client does come in and they go, let me look this person up, and they see all this capital that you've put out in terms of content, and it's been optimized properly, that's the key, that they're like, yeah, this is the expert team I want to work with. And that's what we're trying to do, is create an expert team. So that's kind of the way I see it. That's the way it's going to go, whether you're part of that or not. And then there's some of you guys who are probably doing a great job at that. And then I have a sneaky suspicion, because Cindy told me that some of you are going, man, I wish I could do more. I just need somebody to hold my hand through the process. And now we can do that at a fraction of hiring a full-blown marketing team and social media experts to do it.
That sounds great. And we do. We have a flyer with this offer, and I will be posting it on my blog, which is why I do all these videos. You know, all my Friday forums are always linked to my blog. One thing you didn't mention, we didn't even talk about, is podcasts. And as podcasts, and that's a whole nother medium as well. And in Clubhouse, so there's always things to be aware of, right?
One note about podcasts real quick is, you record video of your podcast. If we haven't gotten it yet, keep going back to video. That one podcast creates hundreds of pieces of content. So yeah, podcasts, if you want to be out there as an expert, have an opinion, share that opinion.
And I will tell you this is not going to be super fast, right? So the misconception about social media, at least I've learned, is that you get two choices. You're going to throw a lot of time at it or a lot of money at it. Most of us can't throw a lot of money at it. So we have to throw time at it. And it's one of those things that you have to just get up every single week. And I probably spend half of the meetings I have with Amy going, I'm sorry, I didn't get you the content. I'm so ashamed of myself. And she's like, you do understand that the more we do this, the better off it's going to be. And even through Facebook locking up my account, my ad account 3 times, and all the other stuff, I opened up my phone today and I got 3 new likes. Now, that might not seem like a big deal, but it's 3 more than I had when I started with them a few months ago. And now people are starting to engage. So I recommend it just for observational purposes. If you want a template, go check out my YouTube channel, my Facebook account, Instagram, see how we're slicing and dicing. I'm doing 3 interviews next week. If you want to be an expert, not only if you sign up, do you get your regular slot? We're looking for more content. So we'll put a list out going, hey, you're on our team now. These are the subjects we want to record for next month. Does anybody want to volunteer to be? I saw a comment, I'm scared of video. Don't worry. I'm with you. I got you. I'm going to hold your hand and walk you right through it. Softball questions. We edit the stuff out so it looks clean and crisp and you don't get embarrassed. And at the end of the day, you get something very valuable that you can now repurpose, because we're going to just send you, here's the link, just share it, comment it, like it. You win, we win, we all win. So I've never seen any firm ever do anything like this before. It's kind of all or nothing. And if you can't afford us, pound sand, figure it out on your own. These gals really respect what we do and how we're doing it. And I think they demonstrate that with pulling I think Heather said, I'm going to crack the watch open and show them how it works. I think she did a good job of that. But some people can't handle how it works. They don't even want to know how it works. They just want to know what to do. And that's what the opportunity is that sits in front of you now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will post links to Heather and Amy's organization, and Ed, your contact information, everybody's contact information, and I will post the flyer as well, and actually take the recording from these Friday forums, and those are what I turn into the podcast. So I do it the opposite way, and so I will put those in our show notes for the podcast. So thank you all for being here today. I hope you can see there's a lot of excitement. I'm seeing a lot of different comments and things. So we're very excited and look forward to moving and having more opportunities. Carmen mentioned, speaking of videos, I've had to move my channel. So I now have 12 people, subscribers to my new channel. It's under Cindy at cindymcdonald.com. Carmen has put a link in there, but I had to, all my other videos and everything I've had to take off and put onto a new channel. So if you're looking for past Friday forums, things like that, you need to go to the new Cindy at cindymcdonald.com, and you'll find my my channel there. So my UCLA, everything I've had to switch over. So that's a pain, excuse me, to do. So don't do that. Make sure you're starting your channels and stuff where you want them to be. So in 2 weeks, we're going to have Karen Yankovic join us, and she's going to talk again about social media, and she's going to dive into LinkedIn. She's a LinkedIn strategist, and she's going to talk about LinkedIn in particular. So, excuse me. Everyone, thank you very much. Heather,
Thanks, Cindy.
Ed, you guys take care. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.